Welcome to your Shop Talk Masterclass on how to unleash the power of Reels in growing your business and your brand. This talk is brought to you by Clarendon Retail, organisers of Top Drawer, Home and Gift, Manchester Furniture Show, the January Furniture Show and Reveal. My name is Anna Jones and I'm the CEO and founder of Your Agency, a global strategic marketing agency. I'm a creative marketing expert who uses my commercial retail experience in running London flagship stores, my marketing knowledge and global perspective to connect my clients to the right people to support them grow. So why are Reels so powerful? Video has recently become, or definitely in the last few years, golden when it comes to marketing. Apps such as Instagram, who were previously all about the photos, has turned their focus to video. We also learned that 73% of TikTok users say they have a greater connection with the brands that they're engaging with on the platform. So video is a way to create deeper connections to your brand, particularly the people behind them. So why do you need a real strategy? You can go and listen to all kinds of different advice. There's lots of free advice out there, but you need a plan. You can't just go and copy other people. You need unique content that's going to grab the attention of your followers or potential followers and potential clients to get their attention and keep them watching your valuable reels. The adding value, how are you going to add value? The most important question to ask yourself when creating any content, whether it's video or static, is what value am I adding? There are a number of different types of reels that you might want to consider using. Educational are on the up. This is where you talk to the camera, as I am here, with educational advice where you use your voice as well. The second type is entertaining. You've seen them before, they're lip syncing, they're doing a funny dance. Not everyone feels comfortable doing that, but some of these entertaining ones can be very quick to create and have a massive impact on your audience as long as you're writing valuable content to go along with the reel. Relatable, how are you relating? Think of the pain points of your customers. How are you relating to them in order to strike a chord with them and build that relationship and that connection that will keep them reading on to what you've got to say. And finally, a supportive type of reel. How are you supporting the client? Are you giving them advice on something? Are you, putting yourself in their shoes and how they feel so that they start to build that deeper connection? It's all about connection and value when it comes to your strategy. The strategy, in simple terms, is having a plan with different messaging that fit your content pillars. Content pillars, for those that aren't aware, are 3 to 5, I suggest, when creating strategies for my clients. 3 to 5 topics that you know are very important to your target audience and a way of adding value in what you're offering. So remember, you'll need to experiment to know which ones work for you. There's no point in looking at competitors and seeing what they're doing. This content is unique, and that's the power of video. It's all unique to you because you're doing it or someone in your brand is doing it. And therefore, that is why those deeper connections can be created. Next, I want to talk about what the top tips are in terms of creating your reels. So the actual content you're creating. How are you going to reach that new audience that you're trying to tap into and get more and more exposure? The first thing is, not everyone's going to like this, is showing your face, and the people behind your brand is going to connect with your audience and really help drive the success of your reels. So tip number 1, make sure you're showing your face wherever possible. It really does make a huge difference. The other thing is the text. So a reel does need text, but the first 2 seconds are the most important 2 seconds of the reel. When we're talking about a length of a reel, the optimum length for reels is around the 18-second mark. So keep them short. They can be shorter, but 18 seconds is the kind of the suggested sweet spot. But the first 2 seconds are where you need to hook that audience in. What is that pain point? Why should they listen and carry on following what you're talking about? That's what you need to give them, the answer to that. Give them a reason to why to stay. The power of a hook will make sure that they stay listening and fully watch the whole reel, which the algorithm will recognize and start to push out to more people. So that is point number 2. The other point about the text though is you also need to include a call to action. So at the end of the reel, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to read the caption? Do you want them to share something? Do you want them to comment below? There'll be lots of different actions that you can suggest within that reel that will keep your audience engaged. What you want is the reel to drive engagement, saves, likes, and shares. That is the way that your audience will be telling Instagram that they like the content and therefore more people need to see it. And that's what will turn the algorithm to spread the news of what you're doing. There is also a need to include some sort of transition. How are you going to keep that attention? If you're it does obviously depend on the type of reel you're creating, but a lot of reels with a few transitions will just keep people thinking what's coming next. So it's really important that the use of transitions. I'm going to talk about some great apps and tools that you can use that make this really easy. Personally, I don't find it very easy creating the reels within Instagram themselves. There are some things that need to be done with Instagram, which I'll talk about, but there is the app InShot. Again, I'll come back to that, but it's worth noting InShot is one of the easiest apps to create. It's free. You can upgrade it without adverts and with additional benefits, and I think it's only something like £15 or something like that a year. So it's not a big investment, and that gives you lots of different options for transitions that can really help you edit the video content that you're creating. The next point is hashtags. So just like previously, you hopefully have been using hashtags. You can use up to 30 hashtags, and this is a way of really niching like where you want your content to be directed. So my suggestion would be, you don't want to be using huge hashtags. Nothing over, this depends on the size of your account. But you don't want to be the small fish in the big sea. You want to try and get your reel trending on those specific hashtags. So be very specific to the content you're sharing. Have some that are very specific to your brands that will help you get recognized. And then you'll also have potentially some location specific ones. You'll also have some industry ones that maybe competitors are using as well that will get you out and about. So think 30 ideally, and they should be in the caption. Today, SEO is becoming more and more important. Search engine optimization. Instagram is integrating that much more into their system, their app. And that means that keywords and using the hashtags in the caption is also really key rather than putting them into a comment. So just remember, 30 hashtags is great. Try to not use hashtags over 1 million that have been used over 1 million times because the likelihood is your content will be lost. And have them in the caption because there'll be SEO, that will help with your SEO. So there are 2 or 3 tips around hashtags. The other thing is when filming, another great way that you will be rewarded by Instagram is using great lighting. So I'm going to talk about tools that you can invest in. These aren't expensive tools at all, but the light is really, really important. Bright light, clear picture, sounds like the silliest tip, but if you're using a phone to record, you've probably had it in a bag, you've been touching it, you've been using it. Just give all the cameras and everything a wipe. Sounds the most basic thing, but it can be totally game-changing in the quality of your video. And again, Instagram rewards high quality videos. There's also a tip on my own Instagram on how to make sure that the setting on your video is right. So take a look at that. I can add it to the notes. And then, yeah, the length, we've talked about this, the 18 seconds is kind of the sweet spot, but keep them sweet. People don't have long attention spans. So don't, and also if you have a business account, which probably a lot of you do, I also still have a business account because I want to be able to schedule my content, because I don't want to always be there to post every piece of content. So if you need that business account for the scheduling tools, which at the moment is, your music choices can be quite limited. And the longer the length of the reel, the harder it is to find trending audio. Trending audio, I hear you say. Trending audio is vital. Music is really vital in bringing these videos and reels to life. So how do you find a trending audio? If you head down to, if you're searching on different reels, you'll notice by the audio, there is a small arrow that points upwards. This indicates that the audio is trending. Now, a tip on that is you don't want necessarily the music to have been used on like hundreds of thousands of reels, because again, it's similar to the whole hashtag analogy that it can be lost, but it is important that it is trending, because again, Instagram's algorithm, it pushes out content with trending audio. So sometimes that's not always music, that can be also voiceovers, that can be things that you can lip sync. So spend a bit of time. There are some apps that you can use to help you find those. But what I've tended to find myself is the more reels I'm doing and researching, the easier it becomes to find that trending audio. But like I say, there are some apps which I will share in some notes. Okay, so as I previously mentioned, video content creation isn't something that comes naturally to myself either. So I've really had to practice and practice and practice, and sometimes pulled in experts, people to help me with some of the recording, or just having a friend who can give you an opinion on something is really, really important. But I thought it's worth sharing what is working right now for me. Again, I have spent a lot of time researching this, which is why I wanted to bring you the tips. But also I think it's really important to say, I wasn't comfortable either, but these are the things that I've learned since really kind of investing the time and knowing that I needed these to grow my account. So the first biggest point is about being consistent. So there's no point in just putting out a reel and hoping now your account's going to blow up, because it isn't. It's reel creation, and this video content creation is a long-term project. It's something you need to do consistently and relatively frequently. It's not a quick win. So think about how often realistically could you post, and then my other big tip is creating a whole batch of them in one, because you don't want something to be suddenly get to the day and think, oh, today was meant to be my reel creation day, let me do it. It makes it highly stressful and it's not enjoyable always. Having said that, sometimes an impromptu one can be your best performing. So I'm not saying don't do those, but I'm just saying in an ideal world, batch creating these reels really helps, and also helps you be more strategic about the content that you're actually creating. So that's consistency. Batch creating is a big one. We've talked about the trending audio. I have tried both. I tried it without some trending audio, and if I'm really honest, it was a complete flop. So it's really worth finding the trending audios in order to get to more people. Another one is done is better than perfect. Even if I look back now at the very first reel I did, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect, but it got done, it got out, and actually, I think in a way, Instagram actually rewards you for trying, because often some of those first ones can have great hits if you've got the right hashtags, if you've got value adding content. So don't wait for it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. There are certain things that if you're using, something to a beat, and you're using photography, for example, so like you're using your photos, you're putting them to a beat, they need to be to the beat, because that's just, you know, a level of professionalism. But it doesn't need to be some professionally edited video. Obviously, the goal is to make it as professional as possible, but done is better than perfect, for sure. So that's definitely a really important reminder for one of those days where you're not having the best day and you're recording and it's hard and you're thinking, why am I doing this? This is the third time I've done it. Try it, do it. And I, honestly, I'm sure it's probably better than you think. We are our own worst critics. I know I am. Anyway, the other thing is lip syncing. So you've probably seen these reels where people speak the audio. This is where actually doing something directly in Instagram is really useful. So a tip for this is if you can actually slow down the pace of the audio so that you can talk like this, and when it plays it back fast. So if you go into your reel creation settings, you choose the audio that you want to use, which is with the right sound, and you can then on the right hand side of your screen you'll see there's a speed. It will be 2 times, 1 time, 0.5 times. You can change the speed according to how you feel comfortable talking it through. So some of it is very slow if it's long, and it just helps make it as professional as possible in terms of keeping in sync with the audio. So that is really important. You can check that out. Instagram have loads of great little free videos about lip syncing tips. So that is definitely one of them. And then we talked about it before, but a reminder, the hook. I definitely, when I started, didn't necessarily think hard enough about those hooks. Those hooks are so important. What is on your client target audience mind right now? Like, what do they want to hear? What are they frustrated by? What problem do they need solving? If you get that into the hook within the first 2 seconds of your reel, it can be game changing and really help the performance of the reel. So don't forget the importance of the hook. And finally, always think video rather than photo when you are doing anything. So I don't know if you've heard the reel, the phrase is everything's a content opportunity, or something like that. It's a trending, one means trending. Before, like, people, you might have thought, oh, I need to just get a quick behind the scenes of this, or how I'm making this. People always tended to take photos. Now just make sure that there's a mix between photos and video to ensure that because this behind the scenes content can be valuable in the creation of your reels. So think video. So whenever you're doing behind the scenes, what you're doing, how you're documenting it, it may be boring to you, but often people love to see what people are doing behind the brands. It's all part of the storytelling that you're doing with the reels that are connecting with your audience. So when you're recording that behind the scenes, really try and think video as well as photo. Okay, so in order to make this as simple as possible for you, I've tried and tested quite a few tools, and these are my top 5 tools for creating reels simply. The first one is a collapsible tripod. This is your light ring, it holds your phone, which is really, really important, and just makes it simpler because often when you're creating a reel, it's only you. So you need these stands and the lights to make the lighting good, as I previously mentioned, and this will make it much easier to create some of these reel contents. The second thing is Canva. Canva, I don't know if you've used Canva before, but Canva has a wealth of templates you can use, particularly for covers as well. So all my covers that are on my Instagram now are created in Canva, and then we upload them as part of when we're uploading the reel to Instagram. So you can use graphics, and that can be when you can decide on your font, and you can create the whole reel if you so wish in Canva, but I would say it's best for things like the covers more than anything. The third thing is InShot. I mentioned it before, it's a free app, and it is a great video editing app. You can do things like reverse your videos, you can change the pace of the video, so you can do slow-mo, you can speed it up, you can add the text in, you can choose the color, and it really makes it unique to you, because you can go in and edit it as you wish to create the reel that you're wanting to achieve. And then the other one that's a biggie is number 4, your remote control for your phone. Who's done it where they like start to film and then they're like trying to put their arm out to like stop the phone or move away? This just makes it really simple. By using the remote control that controls your phone, you can stand back, get in the right position, know you're ready, and click. The other tip, like linked to that, but it's directly in Instagram, is there is a timer that will count you down to the start of the recording if you're recording directly in Instagram. So that's the other tip. And the 5th thing is, if you are a product-based business and you want to do stop motion, the app that I think is better for that is called VLLO. And this one really makes it simpler to, so say you've got lots of photos of all the different positions, it can in one hit reduce every photo to the same length to pull together that like stop motion type look. So VLLO, and it's also free. So as you can see, I think the most expensive thing, it's literally the remote control. It's not very expensive, I think under £10. And the collapsible tripod, I think I might upgrade mine, but the one I originally bought was around £30 or £40. They don't need to be expensive. I think the biggest thing is making sure that the actual light is big enough, because the first one I bought is great and it's good for on the go, but if you're generally someone that's going to be doing it in your, I don't know, shop or in an office or not out and about, to have a bigger ring is better and just helps create the quality of your videos. So they are my top 5 tools. So the other really important thing with any, I guess, activity you're doing, but any marketing activity for sure, is knowing if it's actually performing. How can you work out if the reel is actually getting you to your target audience? Now, one of the most likely things that everyone looks at is the number of views. The views is important, of course, but it isn't the be all and end all. There's actually much more valuable information to take from the insights. So if you head to your Instagram insights, you can click on the reel and you can then get a more detailed breakdown of what has happened with the reel you've created. So it will give you number of views and plays, it will give you the likes, it will give you the comments, it will give you the shares, and it will give you the saves. Now, the engagement in that reel is actually more important, because that is what Instagram is going to reward you for. So the engagement is the comments, the shares, and the saves are like what I would say is more crucial, and the likes of course comes into that. But don't worry necessarily if the views aren't ridiculously high. Obviously everyone's goal, well, not everyone's goal, but a goal could be you want your reel to go viral, and you know that can be completely game changing for your brand. But like, I haven't had that. I have had some great results, because the other thing that I tend to look at is how many follows I get posting a reel. So that is also a measure of success for that reel. Like, what you're wanting to do is attract a new audience who are interested in what you're talking about. You want loyal followers. So the views might be because it's been pumped in front of lots of people, because you've used the right algorithms and you've done a lot of things right. But are they actually the right people for your brand? So definitely the goal is to get more exposure, yes. But actually the quality of those views is just as important, if not, in my opinion, more important. So just don't forget, don't be disheartened if the views aren't high. What if you only had, what would you rather? Only have 100 views and get 1 new customer, or get 10,000 views and no new customers? I mean, that's probably a bit extreme, but take, you know, they're the sort of examples. So it is also really about that quality of follow that you're gaining or of interaction, and whether that then leads to a conversion to a new client. The final thing, thank you for listening to my tips and advice today. I hope it's been useful and you've got some key takeaways. If you are looking for more advice, please give me a follow at Your Agency on Instagram, or drop me an email, anna@youragency.com, and I'd be more than happy to help and point you in the right direction of anything you might need. Just remember, the power of video is strong. Video is going nowhere when it comes to your marketing. So now is the time to start using it, embracing it, and seeing the results. Good luck.